Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming to class today. Woohoo, it's Tuesday. Have to say that with a little less excitement than Friday, right? Um, it's also Valentine's Day, right? Ah, I heard that too. I don't know. I heard it on the radio. It's Valentine's Day. Let's start on our backs or in a nice sitting shape. If you're at home, of course, you can use a chair. As you all know, we always start with a little bit of time for breath work, a little bit of time to drop into our bodies, practice focusing. Just a gentle reminder to give yourself a break. So adding mindful self-compassion to our practice, meaning that we practice from a space of curiosity. So we ask ourselves lots of questions through the practice. And we try to keep an open heart and stay grounded and practice being really kind to ourselves, just like we would treat our very bestest, dearest friends. So as we individually settle into a supportive shape, give yourself a moment to feel and acknowledge the strength of the surface that's helping to hold you up. If you're sitting in a chair, you might notice how your chair connects to the floor. If you're lying on your yoga mat or a towel, recognizing how your mat connects to the floor. And then for all of us, the floor connects into the earth. And just like a really old growth tree has deep, wide roots, so do we. So giving our bodies a moment to feel a little more anchored. You might use the imagery of an old growth tree to help your body find stillness and support. And intentionally holding your body in this shape still. So I'm going to try and just hold your body and then come in and notice your breathing. There's no need to change or control your breath. So we're here practicing authentic breathing. As you hold your body intentionally in stillness, dropping out of your mind into your body as it breathes. Softening your awareness with curiosity, noticing the breath as it moves through your body. So your body breathing is an anchor. And we open to the gentleness and the awareness of feeling, noticing the breath for about 5 to 10 breaths. Try to practice letting your mind rest in the feelings of the breath. How we breathe has a relationship to how we feel. So in a practice, taking longer exhales to help us find more ease and calm in the nervous system. So give yourself a moment as you take your inhale, noticing your inhale. And then again, nice and still through your body, slow, full commitment exhales. Couple more breaths here. Full, slow exhales. And then shifting your awareness back to very authentic breath. Let go of any control you might have had around your breathing and take 3 breaths. Now, how we define the core, or how I define the core in this class, is from your shoulder girdle. So from the front, side, back of your shoulder girdle. Today, we're going to define it all the way down to your knees. So we're going to include your quads in the front and your hamstrings in the back of your legs. Okay, so it's like a pretty long rectangle. So our upper backs are part of our core, as are those corset cummerbund abdominal muscles, as are today our glutes, our quads in the front of the thighs, and our hamstrings in the back. So if you're on your back, let's let your knees bend. We're going to start with dead bug. If you're in a chair, you'll figure it out, okay? So if you're in a chair, you might slide a little bit forward on your chair. All of us on our back bring our knees up over our hips and our legs up to the ceiling. And we bring our arms up to the ceiling as well. Now, just give yourself a moment to check in, to feel the back of your head, the back of your shoulders, ribs, and hips. Want to try and come back over and over again to what we define in our own bodies as neutral spine. So there's a soft little lumbar curve in the low back. Okay, you're just going to bend at your knees and your elbows. Bring your elbows a little more back, say over your shoulders. They tend to float forward. And then bring your knees forward a little bit over your hips. We tend to draw the knees into the chest a little. With an inhale, straighten all the limbs up to the ceiling. And with an exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, bend. So you are moving from the feeling of your breath. 2 more times. Feel the breath and then move. Next time your limbs are up towards the ceiling, just pause. 1 more time, bend your knees, bend your elbows, pause. Elbows a little back over your shoulders, knees a little forward over your hips. Check in with your low back again. This should not hurt your low back. Remember your corset cummerbund area. So if you're brand new, if you had a corset, if you had a cummerbund on, we want that corset cummerbund to feel pretty snug. You can draw your navel down into the floor just gently. Okay, right arm is going to straighten, left leg's going to straighten. Exhale, bend. Left arm, right leg straighten. And then we move side to side, contralateral. Now, as you start moving, you might start to move a little quicker. That's fine. Go at your own pace. You're trying to keep your shoulders, ribs, and hips super stable. Can you notice that your spine does not really need to change shape? So that rectangle from shoulder to pelvis, stability and strength. 2 more. So 2 more right leg, left arm, 1 more. And then you'll just coast back to stillness and bring all the limbs down when you're done. Come back to neutral spine. So neutral spine constructive rest or sitting upright, not uptight in your chair, is your baseline. Come back, bring your knees back up over your hips and your arms back up to the ceiling and straighten your legs. Now check in. Did you move your spine? Try to bring that awareness back to neutral spine. All the limbs now go out like a Y or a V. You go out lateral. See if your arms can mimic your legs. So just take your arms out only as far as your legs. Give your legs some external rotation. So roll your knees and toes away and then pull the limbs back up. 4 more on your own. You're going out and in. Inhale out, exhale in. Keeping that connection in that deep low corset cummerbund. Upper back, nice, strong and stable. Last one. Then you go contralateral. So when all the limbs come back up, come back to your baseline. Right arm goes out to the right, left leg goes out to the left. No wobbling. Don't wobble. I know it's so easy to wobble, right? Small range of motion. Just go out a little bit. You can add that external rotation in the legs if you want. So it's just as much about not wobbling, if not more so, as it is about how far those limbs go out. Stability relates to mobility. Couple more. And then bring all the limbs up when you finish this round. And then you'll lower everything back down to that constructive rest. That's when you're on your back with your knees bent. Or if you're working in a chair, you're sitting upright, not uptight, and we take 3 breaths. And then however you want to come on up to standing, there's different ways for each one of us. So we've got either roll forward or roll over, and we're going to come up all the way to standing. And then if you're in the room and you want to stand and look out at the lake, turn to face the lake or come to the front of your mat, arms hang. And we're just going to stand and hang out and take 3 breaths. Bringing awareness down into your legs, into your feet. You notice the weight in the right leg and the weight in the left leg. Without looking down at your legs or your feet, can you feel a little more even left side, right side? Little more even front foot, back foot. And then drawing awareness back up to your corset cummerbund. So if you had that big, wide corset cummerbund on, as you exhale, can you feel your corset get a little snug? And keeping some of that snug as you inhale, 2 breaths. Then bringing your hands up to the front of your hip creases, you're going to push your hip creases back, push your butt back and take a long forward fold. And we're going to do 3 of these pretty slow, just so you can start to feel a little more connection through your hamstrings, up through your glutes into your low back. Totally up to you if you want to try and touch the floor. That is not a requirement. So you're pushing your hip creases back, Working slowly, stretching through your low back, glutes, and hamstrings. And then we'll come all the way on up and take another 3 breath mountain meditation. Did I say meditation? Meditation. All right, 3 breaths. All right, we're going to add on. Exhale, sweep those arms out and up. Inhale, pull your arms down and in. Really stretch out and up, okay? So imagine you're pulling a band and there's strong energy, like you're trying to touch the sides of the room all the way up to the ceiling, all the way up and down. One more time, you're gonna pull, reach. Now fold forward, feel your hip creases, move from the pelvis first. Long spine, fold forward. You don't have to touch the floor. Bend your knees. Okay, you could use a chair if you need to. If you're at home, put your hands on the chair or your hands towards the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need to not feel pain or discomfort in your low back. Step your feet back and then press those hip creases back again. Build your downward facing dog. So you can bend your knees as much as you need to take your butt cheeks, take your hip creases back. And then 3 more breaths right here. Try and let your head hang. Exhale, look up at your hands. Walk your feet forward 1 step. So right leg, left leg, step forward 1 step. Pause. We worked on this Friday. Do you feel how your shoulders are a little more over your wrists? Keep your heels lifted. Now pull your belly button up and see if you can feel a little bit of like cat pose here. Pull your belly up and take a big cat pose. And then walk your hands back 1 step. Put your heels down and come all the way on up to stand and take a full body stretch. Right away, push your hip creases back, fold over again. Hands on your chair coming all the way to the floor. Bend your knees as much as you need. Hands walk forward, feet walk back. 1 more time, downward facing dog. Give yourself time to set it up. Remember, be curious. How can you get more length in your low back here? Now exhale, feel your full exhale. Look up at your hands. Walk your feet in 1 step. Keep your heels lifted. Notice how your shoulders are a little more over your wrists. Pull your navel up, round your back. A little bit of like a cat pose. Then walk your hands back 1 step. Put your heels down. Come all the way on up. Big mountain stretch. Arms come down to your side. And then we come back to your body breathing, back to your experience. You can remind yourself your experience is your own. Nobody can hear your thoughts. Can you talk to yourself in a nice, kind voice? Can we practice with curiosity? And with your next exhale, we're going to take a wide stride. You can look at me, you can look at the lake. Heels in, toes out. All right, so you have this nice wide stride on your mat. Okay, without using your arms, find your thigh bones and press them open. Okay, so you're going to press them back. And then you're going to go down as far as you can in a sumo squat. Bend your knees, bend your ankles, and come back up. You got 2 more. Go down nice and slow. You can pop right back up as long as you don't snap your knees. Okay, so you go down slow. And exhale up. What I mean by popping your knees is when you come up, don't lock your knee out. One more time to practice that. Go down slow. Awareness in the back of the knee. Come on up. Great. Point your toes forward again without looking at your feet. Come back to your legs. Awareness through your feet into your legs. Can you feel a little more equal weight? Left side, right side. Front foot, back foot. Try to not change the weight in your feet and push your hip creases back. So it's a wide leg, tabletop, forward fold. Now you can go all the way over if you want. You're paying attention to those hamstrings, glutes, and backs. And then you come on up. And then as you come up and you go back over 2 more times, try to not shift the weight in the feet. Can you keep those feet weighted just as they are? A little more weight out in the balls of the feet. It's really easy to fall back into your heels here. If you bring the weight out in the balls of the feet, you got to use that corset cummerbund a little more. And we come all the way back on up, step our feet together. 3 breaths, you come back, check in. Notice what you notice. Full exhale. Turn to face the front of your mat. Don't look at your toes. Don't look at your feet. Just feel your feet, wiggle your toes. Right leg, left leg. Can you have about the same amount of weight, side to side, front to back? Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. About the same amount of weight in the front foot, back foot. Push your hip creases back, wide leg table, forward fold. All the way over. Okay, now bring your hands up on your shins a little bit. And if that's too low for you, don't worry about it. Bring your hands up onto your thigh bones. It's fine. Pull your belly button up. Find a little bit of cat in your low back. So in Pilates, we might call this like the scoop. You're drawing your navel up, scooping it in. So when your shoulders go lower than your hips in a forward fold, when you're bending over, your low back rounds. And we need lots of strength in that low back. So really pull your belly up, belly button up to be specific. And maybe now start to fold. Take your shoulders lower, lower, lower. Keep that cat feel in your low back. Bring your arms down towards the floor. Great. Lift your chest up, look out in front of you a little bit and step your feet back and build your downward facing dog. Give yourself time. Remember, in your down dog, you want strong fingers, wrists, arms. Bend your knees, push your hip creases back. Down dog for 3 quiet breaths. You can always do tabletop or cat-cow if you need. Lift your heels. Walk your feet in 1 step. Walk your hands back 1 step. Keep your heels up. Pull your belly button up again. Then put your heels down. Come all the way on up, really strong. Full mountain stretch. Arms come down to your side. Once again, 3 breaths. You get 3 breaths. What are you going to do? How can you use 3 breaths to your benefit? And stepping your feet wide. Heels in, toes out. 3 sumo squats. Press those thigh bones open. Up and down. Awareness in your feet. Great. Next time you come up, if you want more challenge, lift your heels. Give yourself a little time to balance. You could have a really bent knee or have a little straighter leg. 2 more breaths. Heels draw down. Great. Left leg rolls in. Right leg rolls out. Go about heel to heel. Try not to look at your legs or your feet. Do you have about the same amount of weight on both legs? Okay, try to keep that feeling of equal weight as you let your right knee drift forward and your right knee drift back. 2 more times, right knee drifts forward without losing that weight in the back left leg. Right knee drifts back. Great, next time your right knee's bent, pause. Okay, now don't move your legs. Come back, see if you can feel your corset cummerbund on for support. A little more challenging, you bring your fingertips together, just nice and gentle fingertips together in front of your chest sternum. Now see if you can relax through your face and your throat and your jaw for 2 breaths. Straightening your right leg, coming back around to the front, heels in, toes out, 3 sumo squats going up and down. Little more challenging, you come up and lift the heels. Heels come down, squat low. Come up, heels lift, optional. Last one. Great, heels come down. Right leg rolls in, left leg rolls out, hands on your hips. Don't look at your legs, have them in your awareness with your feet, about the same amount of weight as your left shin draws forward, your left shin draws back. 2 more, this shouldn't hurt your low back. Okay, if it hurts your low back or you're feeling a tug in your inner groin, take your pelvis around to the left a little more, okay? Sometimes we just open the pelvis a little too much to the right and it gives us a little creak in the back. Next time your left knee's bent, pause. Without looking at your feet, feel the weight in your legs, bring your fingertips together, 2 breaths to let the chest, the throat, the jaw soften. Can you feel your corset cummerbund? Straightening the left leg, coming back around. Toes face forward, sweep your arms out like big T's. Then sweep your hands onto your pretend back pockets, opening your chest. Okay, now when the chest pecs open, it's really easy to push your chest forward. So that awareness of the upper cummerbund area, upper abdominals, to draw those ribs down and in. Great, now push your hip creases back and tip forward into your wide leg table. Notice as your low back starts to round, shoulders go lower, low back rounds. Can you feel that strong low belly connection, like you're doing a little bit of cat pose? 2 breaths, you can stay in a table or let your head hang. Now bring the awareness into your legs. Do you have equal weight out in the balls of the feet and the heels, or did you fall into your heels? Push into your feet and come all the way back up. And step your feet together, either looking at me or maybe looking at a wall or looking at the lake. 3 breaths. How can you use 3 breaths right now in your practice? Exhale, sweep your arms out and up, pull. Energetically reach towards the side of the room, reach towards the ceiling, pull your hip creases back, fold and notice. Notice when that low back starts to round. Inhale, you can lift your chest a little bit, look out in front of you. Step back, downward facing dog. Remember, you can always skip this part and just come to standing. You can always come to tabletop or child's pose. If you're using a chair at home, you can always come to sit. You have 3 breaths in your down dog. How can you find more length in your low back? One way is to bend your knees and really pull those outer hip creases back. Maybe you have a different way. All right, look up at your hands. Walk your feet in 1 step. Draw your belly button up, cat pose in that low back. Keep your cat pose, walk your hands in.
Weights over your hands. Heels come down. Don't lose the connection to strength as you reach out to come all the way back up. And then we all find standing meditation, meditation, meditation for 3 breaths. Okay, walking up towards the front of your mat. Bring your arms just out in front of you like you're going to do a standing plank pose. And just let your arms draw back into the shoulder sockets a little bit. So can you feel your shoulder blades a little more just naturally snug and strong on your back? So reminding ourselves upper back contributes to core strength. It contributes to balance. So can you keep this as you take your arms down by your side? Shift, so it's unilateral leg work, shift about 70% of the weight into the right leg and let your left leg just float up. Now you can just take your toes right to the floor and lift your heel, or you can just take your knee all the way up. It's really up to you. Some of us might need to keep the toe on the floor. Some of us might need to go get a chair. Just balancing here. And then we're going to hold this for a moment, just so we can notice what's happening in our minds. How do you respond to what your mind is telling you? Can you come back to your breathing? This is where that mindful self-compassion practice really comes in. Then you're going to step that left leg all the way back into a lunge. Okay, so your back heel lifts. Now bring your hands onto your hip bones and lift those hip bones up. Okay, so you're trying to get your pelvic bowl to be more level as a bowl and lift up. And then you're going to see how far you can take your right shin. Let your right shin draw forward. Bring your fingertips back up together like you're holding a little ball, gentle fingers. Stay right here. Now, if you can keep your neck, jaw, face soft, maybe take your arms up to the ceiling. 3 breaths. Ribs draw down and in. So remember that rib connection, corset cummerbund connection. Now you're going to step forward and draw your left knee up. So it's going to hike up. You're going to draw your left knee up and balance again. You might take your left foot around onto your right ankle and do a little bit of tree pose, okay? So you could have your left knee up in flexion, or you can bring it down into tree. You can bring your left toes to the floor. Come back into curiosity and 3 breaths. Both feet come to the floor. Okay. I don't know about you, it always feels so good. I'm like, oh, the floor. Never knew it felt so good to have both feet on the ground. Arms hang, take a couple breaths. Shake it out. Turn to face the front of your mat. We're going to do half that sun salutation. Exhale, sweep your arms out and up. Hip creases draw back, long spine, forward fold. Lift your chest, look up. Step back, downward facing dog. This time, really up to you. You can, of course, it's always up to you. This time though, purposely adding a little challenge. You could come forward towards plank pose. You could come forward to, like, say, floating table. Right? Do your thing. You have about 5 breaths. Remembering that strength connection in the upper back with your corset cummerbund. Back to down dog. Look up at your hands. Walk a foot in. Walk the other one in. Pull that belly up. Navel strong into your body. Walk your hands back. Heels come down all the way up. Full mountain stretch. Arms come down by your side. You get 3 breaths. Bring your arms out in front, standing plank pose to get into your upper back. Soften your chest. Turn on, connect to corset cummerbund. Okay, now remember when you're connecting to corset cummerbund, this isn't like the squeeze that you never release. When you get into corset cummerbund, you can still feel some movement in those abdominals when you inhale, exhale. Now let your arms come down. Second side, pick up your right heel. Right, pick up your, opposite leg, right? Left leg lifts. Hang out, balance. Remember your upper back. Wobbling is really encouraged because you're alive. You need to wobble. That's your body's way of connecting itself to the space you're in. Can you keep with your breathing? All right, remember you're going to go to high lunge. So you're going to step that leg back. You do you. You step that leg back, that left heel lifts, your hips lift up. Great. Shin moves forward, shin moves back with your breathing at your own pace, your own rhythm. You feel the connection of your feet through your legs into your corset cummerbund. So your legs down to your feet are really extensions of your core. Next time your knees bent, pause. Just take that left thigh bone and press it back and then re-lift the front hips up. Fingertips can come like you're holding a really small little ball in front of you. Gentle fingers. Now connecting your back, shoulder blades into your upper abdominals, ribs knit. If you can keep things pretty soft, things being face, jaw, neck, take your arms up. Hold the shape and then feel the sensations of the breathing. What's it feel like in your body as you breathe? You're going to step forward and balance. You might keep your left toes on the floor. You might hike your left knee. You might find tree pose. You do you. Oh my gosh, should we do the same leg twice in a row? See what's happening with these gray days? I am losing my mind. We need to go somewhere sunny. Somebody needs to get the sun out. Oh, good. Bring your arms down, fold forward. Step back, downward facing dog. Oh, good. I'm glad some of you switched. Hopefully at home you caught on to my mistake. Because it's the first one I've ever made. I don't know how I'm going to handle this. Your choice. Maybe you come forward and hold that plank pose. Maybe you come to tabletop. Maybe you go to child's pose. You get 5 breaths here. How can you use this 5 breaths to really benefit your practice? Downward facing dog. All right, nice and slow, let your knees come down. If you're at home using a chair, walk up to your chair. We're going to come down to tabletop. You can have straight arms here, or if you prefer, come down on your forearms. 3 cat-cows. So rounding that back like a Halloween cat. Back to table. And then into some extension. So letting that chest feel like it's sliding forward and going up. And you feel the movement through your spine. Oftentimes as we move through this pose, right, we're really attracted to where it feels really good and we just hang out there. So today we're going to practice from a place of kindness and compassion, being kind to ourselves. Pick a place where it might feel really tight or tense, somewhere that it might not feel uber super good, and go there gently with attention, and then hang out in that tension for 3 breaths. And then come back to neutral and just press back into a child's pose or roll onto your back. So if child's pose is not your jam, roll onto your back. We're going to take 5 breaths. Come back to your experience. Remind yourself no one can hear your thoughts but you, and they don't even have to make sense. And then we're going to find our way onto our backs. If you're at home using a chair, you're just going to hang out on your chair. When you get onto your backs, back to that neutral spine. Remember how we started? If you're sitting in a chair, come back to sitting upright, not uptight. Okay, on our backs, arms are going to come down by our sides, palms face down. Okay. Just starting with some pelvic tilt and tucks, find your belly button and push it into the floor, and then push your pubic bone into the floor. And then as you're tilting and tucking here, adding strength, adding resistance. Okay. If you're at home and you need to sit in a chair, by all means, sit in your chair and just take your legs out wide and come down on your elbows. Okay. So you're going to sit with your hands, elbows on your knee. And if you're at home using a chair, you're going to do cat-cow. And the rest of us on our back are going to push your belly button into the floor and then slowly peel your back up into bridge. So you start with that lower back and you slowly with strength peel up right between your shoulder blades. And then you slowly release back down vertebra by vertebra. 2 more. On your 3rd bridge, we're going to hold bridge. You're going to hold your hips up. If you're at home doing cat-cow, you can just pause. When you get to your bridge, imagine your knees pushing forward over your toes. And can you soften your chest? Use less chest. Now press your sacrum, that triangular bone in the back of your sacrum, and your pubic bone up to the ceiling. Can you get your hips another millimeter? Can you get your hips another millimeter? It shouldn't hurt your low back. Your low back corset cummerbund is on. This is a deep low belly core strengthening exercise. It opens the front of the hips. When you're ready, you can stay here or slowly with control, roll all the way back down to constructive rest pose. Your butt comes last. And then you take your legs straight up to the ceiling and do a hamstring stretch. And then we'll let your feet come back to the floor. Take your legs out, right? So you keep your knees bent. You just walk your feet out wide and then windshield wiper your knees side to side. If you're using a chair, same thing. You take your legs out wide and you go side to side. 2 more times. Then just let your knees come back. Outstretch your legs out on the floor. Let your arms come down by your side.
You're going to bring a hand to your chest, heart, and a hand on your belly. And then take the last minute here to connect the breath. So softening underneath your hands. Letting your hands be soft and gentle and supportive. Reconnecting to the ground, earth for support. Intentionally holding your body still. And using the feelings and movements of your breath as an anchor to stay in your body. Let me take 5 more breaths here. Wherever you are with your breathing, 2 slow exhales. Coming back to your experience. Back to noticing what you notice. Just wiggle your toes. And then slowly draw your knees into your chest. If it's helpful, rock a little bit side to side. And then we'll come all the way over and up to sitting. Sweep your arms out and up. Give everybody a big high five for showing up today and taking care of themselves. Woohoo! Thank you, everyone. Happy Tuesday. Yes, have a great day.